welcome to this session of the Street Smart Millionaire. We figure out how to accumulate wealth and find some life balance. First of all, wealth starts at 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. It's a long journey. It takes, they say the biggest wealth years are 50 to 70 and the biggest earning years are 30 to 60. So I'm in that time where my wealth is growing. It's called compounding, where the money grows and grows and the real estate builds big equity. I think the two best ways to build wealth are real estate and the stock market. So I believe in both. Like today, I did a bunch of budget meetings with my employees. So I look at all the personal budgets of all 182 of my personal employees. I look at them in groups of 20. I have a budgeting system that I teach. I look at their budget, how much they made, how much their bills are, how much they're saving. And of course, for me, if you save 20% for 20 years, you'll be really in good shape. If you invest that money that you save properly, you'll do really, really well. So I believe you got to own real estate. I've had 27 pieces of real estate. I've had a lot of primary houses. I've had some log cabins. I've had some lakefront homes. I've had some oceanfront condos. I've had a lot of rental properties. To me, rental properties are a little bit of a pain in the butt. I currently own a pretty big office building. I've got a 30,000 square foot office building. It rents for $50,000 a month. The taxes and maintenance, I don't have a mortgage, and the carrying costs are about 11. So it nets about $39,000 a month. I take that $39,000 a month in cash flow and I stick it into the S&P 500, which is the best investment tool in the stock market. What the S&P 500 is it invests in 500 companies, mid-sized to big companies. Some do well, some do bad every day. So every day there's some winners, every day there's some losers in the S&P 500. So I take the rent from my office building and I put it into a direct S&P 500 account. So I take the rent and that account builds up, and then you eventually will have more money in the account that I paid for the building. That's when the building will be free and clear. So we want to own real estate. You want to own a big primary house. You want to own a house 4 times what you make. So whatever you make between you and your partner, 4 times that is how much mortgage you can afford. So you want to buy a house accordingly every 2 to 5 years. As your income goes up, buy more houses. Now, ever made any mistakes in real estate? Yeah. One house I lost money on, I sold it too soon. I bought a house in Arizona years ago, and I bought it for $1.9 million. I had it for 10 years. I sold it in the crash, sold it for $1.4 million, so I lost $500,000. Now, I rented that house for 8 years, and it rented for $75,000 a year. So really, when you take the rental money and the depreciation, I still broke even on the house. But that's the only house I've ever owned that I didn't make money because I sold it in a bad market. The thing with real estate, if you keep it long enough, you'll make money. It's like the stock market. If you buy the S&P 500 or you buy blue chip stocks are Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Nvidia, Tesla. Those are blue chip. Costco, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, FedEx, UPS. Those are blue chip stocks. So if you buy blue chip stocks and you keep them long enough, you're going to make a profit. So this month has been pretty rough in the stock market. We're waiting for Trump to get in office. There's a lot of transition problems between Biden and Trump. So Trump gets in office, things will calm down. We'll have some good things in the economy, some bad things in the economy. So I think that just a new transition, if you look at the 2 years after a new president, there's always a pretty good run in the stock market. So I will be buying some stocks tomorrow. I have some liquid money. I sold some stocks in December that had made me a lot of money. I sold some stocks that had lost some money. So Wednesday around 1 o'clock is when I normally look to buy in the stock market. I figured the week is a couple days in. 1 o'clock, the day's normally stable. Like if you look at this morning, it was way up. Then this afternoon is down. Now it's kind of stabilizing. So I like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesdays, I look to buy more stocks. It doesn't mean I always buy more stocks. Once a month, I put my 20% of my savings into the stock market. I buy it on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. When I have extra cash, I look at buying in on a dip. The market's dipped about 5 to 8%. I think it's a good time to make some buys. So I like real estate and I like the stock market. Before you can buy real estate, before you can buy stocks, you got to have some income. So I like people that are in sales. Doesn't matter what you sell. I like things with a high commission, and I'm in mortgage business. The average commission is about $4,000. So I like high commission. I wouldn't want to sell $5 sandwiches because there wouldn't be any commission on it. So I like high dollar activities. Cars used to pay $1,000. Now cars pay about $2,000 in commission for people that sell cars. So insurance, real estate, mortgages, pharmaceuticals, whatever you sell, do it well. Or you have to own a business. So you have to own a business that does really well, or you have to be in sales and do really well to have enough money to squeeze out the 20% every month to buy real estate and buy stocks to accumulate wealth. Now we know wealth takes a long time. It takes at least 20 years to accumulate any wealth. So this is a long journey, kind of like balance. You're not going to be fit overnight. You're going to be fit by having a diet and exercise plan and working it for a long time. I've been working out my whole life. I've had a trainer for the last 15 years. I work out with 4 or 5 friends. I diet probably 5 days a week, probably 2 days a week. I eat McDonald's or I eat Wendy's or I eat fried chicken or pizza. But the rest of the time I eat pretty healthy. I have a protein shake in the morning. I have a nice healthy sandwich, either a turkey sandwich and some chips. I have a healthy dinner, a meat and a vegetable. I try not to eat too many snacks. So I focus on doing things that help me accumulate wealth and doing things that help me be balanced. You know, I'm going this weekend to a car show, and I have about 20 friends coming with me to the Macon car auction. And we will look at some cars during the day. We will play cards at night. I got rented a big Airbnb. We'll have lots of groceries. We won't leave the property. We won't go to a restaurant. We'll have a really fun men's weekend. I think you got to have a men's weekend or a girls' weekend a couple times a year. I'll go to some car shows. I'll introduce some friends. I probably won't buy a car because I'm not doing good in the stock market. But I will look at cars and have fun and dream a little bit and see what I would like and what I think is a good buy. But I doubt I'll buy something because of how the stock market is started. I don't care what I made in the stock market last year. Last year I made 30% in the stock market. Year to date, I'm down 6%. So in my current financial position, I don't have excess money to buy a car. Now I really do, but I don't think that way. So just so you know, once I send money to the stock market, I don't think about it anymore. I can look at that money as gone. I try to keep about $150,000 in liquid money that I would have for emergencies or things breaking down or things I want to buy. Now I have some liquid money that I'm getting ready to put back in the stock market. I don't count that as my personal money. So let's talk about making some money. So making money as a salesperson. For me, I like 2 lists, a list of 40 and a list of 400. The list of 40, you're personally going to be connected with. So whether they're realtors, if you're a lender, whether they're local business people, if you're a realtor, whether if they're property managers or builders, if you're a plumber, I want to have a group of 40 people that regularly use my services that I build a relationship with. That means I'm calling them on a regular basis, 10 a week. You'll talk to them once a month. Like I just called 15 of my VIPs. I have 140 people on a list that I manage. I call 20 of them every week. Every 7 weeks, I stay in contact. These are coaches. These are loan reps. These are clients that I'm coaching that I can get more relationship with to do more business. Like there's 2 ways to do business. You're either in the transactional world, like you're buying a bucket at Home Depot. There's no relationship. Or you're hiring a painter, somebody you know or somebody that knows a painter. So there's relationship business and there's transactional business. I like relationships in the mortgage business. We get to know realtors. They send us their clients. We meet with them live. We help them manage their mortgage fears and their mortgage experience. That's the business that I've been in for 40 years. In the coaching business, people refer people to me for me to coach or me to consult to. I do some consulting. I do a lot of coaching. And I'm looking for people that want to make a lot of money, that want to surrender to my authority and do what I say so I can guide them down the path of making money. So, have I screwed up a lot? Yes. Have I gotten fired twice? Yes. I got fired 2 times in the mortgage business. Once when I was early on in my career, and 4 years ago I got fired in the mortgage business. And I got fired for one reason. I thought my amount of business I did would outweigh my bad behavior. It doesn't. So listen, put up a lot of deals in whatever industry you're in, but be respectful, be polite, be blunt. I always just had the wrong attitude that I didn't have to take great care of people, and it bit me in the butt twice. And listen, last week I lost a loan rep that was working for me. He thought he could make more money somewhere else. I didn't take care of him. I let him down. I owned that failure for about 20 minutes. Then I went out and I called 10 loan reps and I hired a new one. I don't wallow in my defeats for a long time. I watch a lot of sports. Next Monday, I'm going to the national championship to watch Ohio State and Notre Dame. One of my very good friends is a very successful plumber. He loves Notre Dame, so we're going to go to cheer on his game. So it's in Atlanta. It's 4 hours from here. So we're going to meet in a car about 11 o'clock on Monday. We're going to drive to Atlanta. We're going to walk around and take in the festivities before the game. We're going to watch a game. Then we're going to drive back about half hour and 45 minutes to get out of town. And then we're going to stay at a motel. We're going to get up Tuesday morning. We're going to come in. We'll be at work by like 10 or 11 o'clock. So I'll miss all day Monday, but I'll be back to work on Tuesday. So I want to have some sports fun, some recreation, some guy stuff, some good stuff with my wife, Britt. So I want to work on my balance while I'm working on my wealth. I know a lot of people that are a lot wealthier than me, but they're not very balanced. I mean, they don't have a partner, they don't raise good kids, they're not involved in their community, they don't try to honor God with all their behavior and works. I want to be wealthy, but I want to be balanced. So one of the things I want to work on in this podcast is that we work on processes and systems and structures to attain all of our visions and all of our goals. Not just our monetary goals or our asset goals or our income goals, but our spiritual goals, our physical fitness goals. Like at the end of the year, I do a lot of goal setting with a lot of groups. I've probably done goal setting with 2,000 people so far, and it's, January 14th. So I've already done goal setting with 2,000 people. I've done vision boarding where you take white big pieces of cardboard and you cut out magazine pictures and glue them on of things you want to buy or things you want to do. So I like goals and I like visions. And then you got to have a plan. So you got to set up a plan. So in the mortgage business and real estate business, I coach people on how to have a plan. Part of that plan is making outbound calls. Like I personally make 400 outbound calls a week. That's so many outbound calls a week. I see 50 people a week face-to-face. I do about 20 different podcasts or Zoom meetings or videos that I send out that go out to I have about 100,000 people that watch what I'm doing. So I make a lot of phone calls. I see a lot of people and I send a lot of exposure. Like I talked about earlier, working in a group of 40, that's relational. That's phone calls, birthday programs, face-to-face meetings, cards, maybe some Zoom meetings if they're not local in my area. And then I have thousands of people that I touch with videos and email campaigns or watch my podcast or watch me do interviews in the mortgage business with, high-end mortgage professionals. Next week, I'm going to interview a high-end mortgage professional who's done really well, and we're going to hear how he's done it. So I'm going to do some talks a couple times a month about wealth and balance. And I'll do some interviews a couple times a month so you can see some people that I've coached or some people that I know that are really successful and how they became successful. I think that successful people have similar traits. They all have visions and goals. They all have a plan that they execute. And most of them have had some type of coach or consultant. So I think that everybody needs a coach. Every athlete needs a coach. Every business person needs a coach or a consultant. So I think those are really valuable things. It's very hard to have self-discipline. You need people to hold you and help you be more disciplined. So I think that when I'm making sales calls, I will tell you how I make calls, whether I'm leaving a voicemail or whether I'm talking to somebody live. First thing I want to do is be interested in them and their vision and their future. So if I know their vision, I try to start the call with what they're trying to accomplish in business and how I can help them do it. Then I try to be valuable, something I can bring to the voicemail or the phone call to help them make more money, and then I close. Who else do you know that needs to be in my coaching business? Who do you know over 20 million that I could help get to 40 million? My specialty, identifying who your perfect client is one of the keys to marriage or business or whatever. I'll give you an example. When I was single, I was 40, I had a little money. I had gotten married when I was 21, didn't have any money. So, I was pretty excited about it. And I think I was 38 when I got single, and I dated some different women to find out I didn't know much about. I hadn't been single in a long time. And when I got serious about a relationship, I did what I always did. I wrote down what the perfect partner would look like. I wanted somebody that was grounded in faith. I wanted somebody that was hot with no drama. I wanted somebody that had no children because I already had a couple children. I didn't want to do it again. I wanted somebody that was financially independent. I wanted somebody that cared for me for who I am, not what I am. And I made this list. And then it was easy when I started dating somebody if she fit the list or not. And then I met Brittany. She checked every box on the list. And then I just pursued her and spent time with her and developed a relationship with her. And I knew that she was a person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with because she checked all the boxes. And I just, for me, that's how you do business. You make a list of what's perfect from a client, and then you go find clients that meet that list. So for me, in the coaching business, I want lenders and realtors that do 20 million, so they make about 250, and then I take them to $1 million. That's my sweet spot. I take people from 250 a year to $1 million. Now, let's talk about basic income guidelines. 10% of America makes 100 grand. So if you make $100,000, you're one of 10% of America. You can save about 20 grand a year. So if you save 20 grand a year for 20 years, that'd be 400 grand saved. And if you have it in the S&P 500 and average 7%, the money will double every 10 years. So you're 20 grand a year for 20 years will be 400 grand a year. It will double and get to 800. It will double again and get to about $1.6 million. So if you make 100 grand a year, that's all you make, and you're one of the 10% of America that makes 100 grand, and you save your 20%, which are the rules of wealth, for 20 years, invested conservatively, you'll have 1.6 million when you retire. Now, I don't know about you. I'll get Social Security. A lot of you young people won't get Social Security. The government just has way too much debt. And I just think Social Security, Medicaid, and the military, those are probably areas that are probably going to feel the financial burden of America in the next 20, 30, 40 years. So you better prepare for your own retirement, maximizing your 401k, owning real estate, being in the stock market. Those are the 3 ways to accumulate the most wealth. So for me, I have a number. The number is 40 outbound a day, 5 thank you cards a day. So at the end of every day, I fill out 5 thank you cards. Throughout the day, I make 40 outbound. I'm at 32 outbound already today. So I got to make about 8 outbound after this podcast. I got a half hour. I'll make 8 more outbound. I'll get my 40. So I call specific target lists of either people that are my clients, they are my salespeople that work for me, or they are my potential coaching students. So that's who I call. I do a little whale hunting. I think whale hunting is good for everybody. I try to call 5 whales a week. That would be owners of mortgage companies, regional directors of mortgage companies, the top 100 mortgage producers, the top 100 realtors in the nation. So I go after target lists, and I go after them, and I go after them hard. And my pitch is always the same. Do you want to make more money? I'd like to help you. That's my pitch as a coach, because I'm a coach about money. I coach people how to make more money, how to save more money, and how to give more money. Those are the 3 things that I teach around money. Now, when it comes to business, whether you're in sales or whether you own a business, you got to have a good steady flow of new sales. You got to run a proper team, and you got to have tight financials. Those are really the 3 things it takes to make a lot of money. You got to have a good steady flow of sales. You got to have a good team that's appropriate, and you got to have your finances got to be tight. So like I said earlier, I do a personal budget on all 182 of my employees. Today, I looked at about 40 employees' budgets in a half hour. I looked at 20 people's budgets, what they made, what they saved, what they're spending, how they reduce it. Just so you know, all but 5 of my employees own homes, and all of my employees are in the 401k. Now, some of my employees still have some debt, and we're reducing the debt. Normally, it takes about 2 years to pay off debt. So these are things that I want to talk about going forward, about what it takes to make money. Hopefully, every time you watch this podcast, you can get a nugget. You can get a little thing that you can work on to invest a little better. You can get a little trick to how to make a better sale. I will tell you, one of my good friends who I coach has become one of my best friends as a plumber. And he identified that his perfect client was property managers that have 1,000 properties. So we identified 27 property managers in the Charlotte area that had a lot of properties under management. We called them, we sent them cards, we sent them videos, we stalked them on social media, we sent them gifts. We've landed 17 property managers. My buddy has about 37,000 properties under management. So it's a lot of toilets and sinks to fix with only about 17 bills to send out a month. So he identified the perfect client. We went through all of his client base when I started coaching him, who were his best clients. We felt they were property managers, not homeowners, not mansions, not commercial property, not builders, and we attacked property managers. So we got our sales up, then we had to fix our team because we only had 7 plumbers. So what we did was we hired a bunch of plumber apprentices and trained them to be plumbers, and we went out and recruited a bunch of plumbers from other plumbing companies. So right now he has about 22 plumbers, he has about 11 plumber assistants, and he's a really productive plumber. Now, I've been coaching him for 6 years. When I got him, he'd been a plumber for 17 years and made about 175 grand. Last year, he needed $2 million to plumb. So you can make money in any industry if you have a really good sales plan, a really good team plan, and a really good financial plan. So I look at his P&L every month. I look at his personal budget every month. We're investing in the stock market. We're maxing out his 401k. We've reduced all his debt down to nothing. So he's really set. So now we're in a maintenance program. So coaching is a fix it, build it, maintain it. That's what coaching looks like to me. Like, I'm a sports fan. Last night I watched the Minnesota Rams game. Minnesota had won 14 games this year out of 17, and they got killed last night. They could only put up 9 points. Their team did not do a good job. Their offensive line did not do well. Their defense did not do well. And their quarterback definitely didn't do well. So that's why they lost the game. Now, are they bad people or did they lose the game? They lost the game. This is what I want to end with today. I want to talk about your emotions. So I was watching TV before I got on the podcast. I had a half hour for my lunch. I had a turkey sandwich. I was sitting there watching some TV in the cave, and I turned on 3 things. I watched a little bit of the news of the confirmation hearings. I watched about 5 minutes of that. I watched a little stock market. I watched a little sports center. I happened to click on a show called Housewives of a certain, of a town. I guess there's some shows about rich housewives from different towns. And I watched it for 5 minutes, and they have a lot of emotions, and they have a lot of trauma. That stuff won't help you be wealthy, and that stuff won't help you be balanced. So you got to keep your emotions in check. So let me tell you the emotional states that I deal with. I'm glad or I'm mad. That's where I try to stay. I have never been sad in my life. I've been angry a lot, and that's been a mistake. But I try to stay mad and glad. And that's where I stay emotionally. Like, I'm getting ready to do the podcast. My guy is off sick today. He didn't fix some things from last week that I want to fix. My IT guy is taped. It was scrambled. We got it in. We got it done. We'll get it out tomorrow. I'm not I'm a best efforts kind of guy. I'm not redo it until it's perfect kind of guy. So this is how I roll. This is how you should roll. Give your best. Move on. If you didn't do good, figure out what you did wrong. Learn how to get better. But you all need to control your emotions. Unless you're on some housewife show of some rich town, which I hope you never are, because they had a lot of emotions and a lot of drama. You know why? Because they got too much free time. So if you have free time, make some phone calls, send some videos, fill out some thank you cards, follow up on your old clients, follow up on some new clients. Let's blow up, because wealth is fun and balance is fun. I've been out of balance and I've been broke. And I'm telling you, broke is no fun. I remember years ago when I was just getting in the mortgage business, I'd come home, my wife's there with 2 kids. She said, "Did you get a loan today?" I said, "No." She said, "My credit card wouldn't work when I got groceries. You need to go find a loan." Right there, I learned right there, I'm gonna provide for my family. So I was about 25 years old when that happened, with 2 kids and bills, house payment, car payment. I have never gone a month where I didn't make more money than my bills were since I was 25 years old. And I'm in sales and I own companies. So for me, I'm gonna make sure I make more money than what my bills are every single month, no matter what. So there's 20% for me to save, 10% for me to give away, 40% for me to pay Uncle Sam, and enough money left to pay off all my bills, have a good time, have some fun. So these are my thoughts on wealth today. I hope this helped you a lot. What you gotta go work on is you gotta make sure you have a clear vision of what you wanna be. You gotta have a plan. You gotta attack the plan, and you gotta not wallow when you have a failure. I have lost a lot of employees. I've lost a lot of clients. I've screwed up a lot of deals. I remember when I first got in business, in the mortgage business, I asked my boss, "Where do you get business?" He said, "You attack realtors and you call this list." 4 hours a day I was in a call center. 4 hours a day I attacked realtors. I remember I got my first 10 deals. I was so excited. And then none of them closed because I wasn't an expert. But I was enthusiastic and I got sales. But sales without being an expert will not win. So I had to learn the business. So I studied guidelines every day for an hour, and I became an expert in the mortgage business. I, to this day, attack realtors and lenders. I attack my past clients and all my businesses. And when I say attack, I attack. I am not somebody that goes lightly. I go heavy to take care of my clients. I will call them, follow up, send them emails, send them videos, send them cards to be able to serve on my clients. And the word of the week is to serve. To serve is the key in life. If you're serving your clients, you'll make money. If you're serving your employees, you're making money. If you're serving your boss, I got a boss. I work at a giant mortgage company. I work at the #1 mortgage company in the nation. It's called Cross Country Mortgage. It's the #1 residential mortgage company. I got a boss. I've got to serve my boss. 4 years ago, I was a part owner of a mortgage company. I did not serve my boss, so he parted ways with me. Now, I did a lot of business, and I made him a lot of money, but I was a pain in the butt. This time around, I'm a really good employee. So if you have a boss or a wife or a mentor or a coach, you serve them. If you have employees, you serve them. If you have clients, you serve them. That's the word of the week. To serve is to earn. Have a great week. Rick Ruby out.